And this is a very simple statement, but the more I thought about it, the more profound it became. He said, rather than thinking, I have to take the kid to school, I have to get the car fixed, I have to. Think of it this way, I get to. Think of all the people who don't get to do what we do in our very, very good lives that we have here in this country. So with that, please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Carol. Does anyone have any guests that they would like to introduce today? If so, please go to the center of the room and the mic there.
Hi.
Is it on yet, Whitney?
It is on. Okay. Hello, fellow Rotarians. I would like to introduce Alicia Brule, and she is with TLC Transportation.
Thank you, Whitney. Welcome, Alicia.
President Scott, fellow Rotarians and guests, I would like to introduce, recently moved back to Toledo to help us have a better community, is Renee Smith. She is the account manager with Amon's Commercial Interiors.
Welcome, Renee. I think we got another one.
Good afternoon, President Scott. Got my good friend Scott Savage with us here today. Scott's the founder and CEO of SGS Investments. And I invited Scott saying, don't you kind of know these guys at Samaritan Fund? And he was a founding board member 30 years ago.
Excellent.
So,
oh, that's fantastic.
anyway, welcome, Scott.
Great. Thank you, Pat. Welcome, Scott. Excellent. I also want to note that we are visited today by several visiting Rotarians from Ann Arbor, which is great. We have with us Tucker Rossmaessler over here, as well as Brandy Merritt and Mary Africados. Thank you very much for joining us today to listen to the program. All right, before we get started with our guests today, our panelists, I want to go through a couple things that we have to celebrate. First, the District 6600 recognized us with the Club Excellence Award, and this is for last Rotary year under past President Kevin Mullen's leadership. We were acknowledged for excellence through membership growth, innovative projects, and dedicated service. So thank yourselves. Thank you to the club members who put that together and help us achieve that. Also, 1 month ago on August 4th, the membership committee rolled out this fantastic new idea and creative thinking about checking in. So to each program, to each social event, to each service project, everybody's been checking in and getting involved in the club more and more. You can check in again today. But I just wanted to let you guys know that it's really taken off, right? So 90, did you want to say this? Okay. All right, excellent. Okay. 98 Rotarians have already joined the fund by checking in at least once. And we have received 87 photo submissions. So I don't know if you've seen them, but they've been kind of going around on social media. We've been putting them up every time we early before the program and things like that. So it's been a really great program. And right now we have a leaderboard. So in third place with 85 points is Janina Douglas. Way to go, Janina. Look at her. She looks surprised. In second place, we have a tie, actually, between Julie Woods. Where's Julie? Is Julie here today? I haven't seen her yet. And Mr. Kurt Church. Congratulations. Way to go, second. And this will shock no one, but in first place, with 140 points on the board, is our own Mark Urrutia. Way to go, Mark. Where are you? There we go. There you go. Mark, you gotta stand up. Mark, so here's what we're going to do. A la Tour de France, you get a Rotary hat to recognize you as the first place person. Okay, but you got to be careful with that, because if you fall below, you might have to give that up to somebody else. I think Kurt's hot on your tail, so watch out. Anyway, this has been a fantastic opportunity. I think it's great that everybody's making an effort to be involved. The committee, I've been to numerous committee meetings. The committees are really jam-packed. Everybody's doing a great job getting involved, sharing their ideas. So please keep it up. Please keep doing that. It's been great for the club. All right. Now I'd like to introduce our today's program. Kevin and Mike and Ronia, if you don't mind, coming up? You can grab a seat on the stage as I introduce you. Past President Kevin Mullen today is going to facilitate a discussion with our guests. One of our guests is Mike Tenbush, who is the president of International Samaritan. And then our other guest is Ronia Romero, who is all the way from the Rotary Club of Tegucigalpa, Honduras. So please welcome them for the program about International Samaritan today.
Scott, thank you very much. Fellow Rotarians, I am so excited for today's program. As many of you know, myself and 4 other Toledo Rotarians traveled to Honduras for the Uniendo Service Fair in January of 2024. While we're there, we had the opportunity to meet, who you will get to meet here in a few minutes, the incredible Ronia Romero and the work that she's doing in Honduras. And to say that it changed my life is an understatement, but they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I'm going to give you at least 1,000 during this presentation about how much I love this place. But let's start. We've got a video just recapping our experience and our trip to help catch you guys up as to where we are today.
One of the things we did while we were there is go to a trash dump, and we saw mounds, like mountains of trash from afar. It looks almost like hills and mountains, quite literally.
Stepping foot on ground where children were literally walking in a dump, barefoot, seeing the trash and the ground come up between their toes because they have no shoes.
You know, every bit of my being wanted to leave. It's uncomfortable for a number of reasons, not the least of which was the heat. It was smelly, it was dirty. It was a very uncomfortable experience overall.
The pictures don't do it justice. I know that's very cliche, but to see a pile of garbage in the pictures, I mean, I've seen piles of trash, I think we all have, but to pull up and get out of the car and have to wear a mask that we all didn't want to wear during the pandemic and still have the rancid smell pouring into our nose.
To see children that I would guess are 4 or 5 years old there, obviously that's no place for anybody to be.
Life shouldn't be like this. Kids shouldn't be 2 years old going through dumps to eat. Somebody shouldn't have to be abandoned at a dump.
Visiting the Ilocoteo community with the folks from International Samaritan was amazing. It was my second time visiting a garbage dump community with that organization, and it still kicked me in the gut. When our bus turned that corner and we saw a party waiting for us, they were so excited and so proud to show us their home.
When you see the mothers and the kids, they held signs and confetti and balloons just celebrating us, and you don't even understand why, but the appreciation level that they had and the gratitude that they had was beyond anything I've ever seen before in my life.
Every tiny bit of support we can provide people in need, whether they're in Toledo or whether in Honduras or anywhere in the world, there is despair and need. And to be here really brought it home of just how important the work we do really is.
We're part of this organization so we can make an actual difference, not a pretend difference, not a demonstrative difference. I would say that this is the reason why we're in Rotary.
You always hear the phrase Rotary moment, right? And as a new Rotarian, that seems like a dumb thing. Like there's this moment that's gonna happen that just like makes you realize that you're in the right place, doing the right thing. And maybe I'm just as excited for the Rotary moments that's gonna happen when we get back home and we get to work with all of our friends and colleagues in the Rotary Club of Toledo to say, let's make a difference in Honduras.
I'm pleased to be joined by Mike Tembush, the president of International Samaritan out of Ann Arbor, as well as Ronia Romero, the regional director for Central America for International Samaritan. Mike, let's start with you. Your organization has some roots here in Toledo. Why don't you tell us a little bit, just in a nutshell, who is International Samaritan and what's its connection to Northwest Ohio?
So good to be here in Toledo. It's such a beautiful day and such a beautiful city. I'm a lifelong Detroiter, and if I could claim another city, it would be Toledo as my own. And the impact that the people in this town are making across the world cannot be understated. There was a priest and a group of 5 kids from St. John's Jesuit in 1994 who came across a site just like that in Guatemala City, and they couldn't turn away, right? So they wrote a letter to the mayor and said, how could we help? And the mayor actually wrote back and said, we need help with housing. So the priest turned to some friends, the late Bill Pulte and his new wife Karen, and they wrote a check for $40,000. And then another group of kids from St. John's went back and built that housing, helped build that housing the following year, 1995. And that became what we call today International Samaritan, people who go inside the dump site, or teams that work from their community who work inside the dump site and literally go to children and their parents and say, you don't have to do this anymore. Like, we're gonna send your kid to school, we're gonna send a food basket home so you don't have to work in the dump, you don't have to look inside the dump site for food. And we now have 950 young people on holistic scholarships in 8 countries, including Honduras, where we're both in San Pedro Sula and Tegucigalpa. Ronia is the leader of our work for all of Central America. She does such a fantastic job. She's the director of Central America, regional director of Central America. So really proud to be here with her.
Ronia, welcome to Toledo.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, Kevin, and I'm so happy to be here. I can't believe it. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm in front of such many important people and people that really help us to change life. Our community is a community nearby the garbage town. When we are there, we can smell the garbage, we can see the garbage, but with your help, we had a beautiful family life center. And I have my flag of the Toledo Club on my office because Travis and Kevin and Raina, Hannah and Mike gave it to me when they visit our community. I love the flag. I love the flag because you help us a lot to change life. We have 60 scholars in Tegucigalpa that receive everything for the scholarship. They receive uniforms, shoes, materials for the school, all the supplies, money for the transportation, money for everything. So we are so glad and so happy because the Toledo Club helped us with computers. So now we have a beautiful computer lab when our scholars, and not only our scholars, all the young people and kids from this community use these computers to do homework because they don't have internet at home, even they don't have a laptop at home. So they can come to our home because it's a beautiful place that we have. It is near the garbage town. They can come to do homework, to look for information, to play, to receive love. They really like to be at our family life center. All the kids from this community come, and not only for this community, we have 16 communities. The kids come to our family because we had a playground. The Rotary Club of Toledo helped us to build this playground, so kids can come to play. This is the only playground in the area, so many kids come to our family. They really are kids. They don't have to be at the garbage town working, because every time that we go to the garbage, we can see some kids. But our mission, our work is to keep them out of the garbage and let them to be kids. Because I think kids need to be kids. They don't have to worry about working or thinking about food at home. It is hard for me to think that they are worried about food, even when we have food at our homes. But God help us to help these kids, and you help us to change life, even when you don't know these communities, these kids. So I'm so happy to be here. I can tell all day about this community because I really love to work in this community. I'm so glad with God that allowed me to have this job. I don't have money, but I have my heart and I really, really enjoy doing what I'm doing. And it is because your help, your support. So thank you so much. God give you more and more. And thank you so much for helping us. I'm sorry, I always cry because I am a mother and I have 3 kids. So when I see kids in the garbage, I had to be strong. And I'll always pray, God, please help me. I was telling Mike and Kevin that last night I was praying in English and I speak Spanish. So I said, please, God, understand my English.
This is the first I learned that God speaks Spanish, so I'm screwed.
Yeah. But I'm here today, and I'm so happy. I'm so glad to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Ronia is incredible. Why don't you tell the story of kind of how you got to work for International Samaritan, really, and how International Samaritan ended up in Tegucigalpa?
It is because God. Well, International Samaritan has this project in San Pedro Sula. So I was working with a community, with the organization that is the Partnership of International Samaritan in Honduras. So I visited the project in San Pedro Sula, and I said, why don't we have this project in Tegucigalpa if we had the same situation? We had the garbage down, and we have many communities around the garbage down. So I asked Mike and Andrew, why do you, sorry for my English. Why don't come to Tegucigalpa and see these people and see this community, and maybe do you want to help us? And they come to Tegucigalpa. They met me, that I'm amazing. They come to Tegucigalpa. They see that these really people need help. So that day they say, okay, let's work with Tegucigalpa. And that's why now we have 60 scholars not working anymore in the garbage town. They are studying. And we have kids from pre-kinder or kindergarten to college. And they have everything they need. And they had important universities in Honduras, like the Catholic University, private, any private university.
Mike, Ronia mentioned Andrew. I know you've got a handful of folks from your team that are here. You want to take a moment to introduce your staff that came to the meeting today? And then also, why don't you outline kind of where you guys are, because you're not just in Central America.
Okay, thank you for that. So kind of the heart of St. John's and International Samaritan, Andrew Powick, class of 2003, maybe? They're way in the back.
No, he's way older than that.
Oh, yeah, sorry. But Andrew's been with us 17 years now, so he's really the conscience and the heart of our organization. So thank you for everything, Andrew. And proud Rotarian from Ann Arbor, Tucker Rossmaessler. I'd also like to thank a couple of our board members, a former board member who's just come back to St. John's, Father Thomas Pip is back. Thank you, Father Pip. And the man who hired me and was my boss for a long time and still serves on our board for our organization's history, Scott Savage. Oh, is McKinley here? Forgot McKinley. We didn't come in the same car. And McKinley, also, she's now the muscle of our muscle and brains. So she's with the heart and conscience. She's the muscle and brains. Thank you, McKinley, for everything.
So talk to me about what you serve predominantly or exclusively around garbage dump communities. Where are they located?
Yeah, so I think we are, by our research, we're the largest nonprofit in the world dedicated exclusively to the communities surrounding the dump sites. And so you might say, why would people go to a dump site? And the answer is because they're escaping civil war or starvation. Like they end up in the major cities of the world just trying to find something to eat, some way to make money. And the people actually have it's almost like this beautiful sense of camaraderie, resilience, and even like some pride around the fact that like they'll say to you, you know, I could have become a street beggar, I could have sold drugs, I could have turned to prostitution, but I'm going to go here and make a living for my family. So they're in many ways small businesses. People pull out plastic and cardboard and metal, and it's almost the same in all 8 communities. Very similar conditions. The women and kids typically pull plastics and cardboards. The men typically pull metals, and they typically make about $4 or $5 a day, just stacks and stacks of recyclables. Tragically, gangs kind of control the market. So if we wanted to take on some gangs and eliminate them, then our parents could earn more, but they end up selling it to a distributor who sells it on the market, which is a challenge. But 1 out of 10 people in the world live on less than $2 a day, according to the World Health Organization. So think of it as this is a way to double that condition. Like instead of $2 a day, I can make $4 a day. I can afford the rent. I can find something to eat or afford something to eat. So that's how people end up there. What was your question, Kevin?
Where are they? Where?
Oh, so we're in Central America. We're in Nicaragua, Guatemala, and Honduras. Also expanded to Jamaica. And interestingly, we're in East Africa, which is, so that's Ethiopia, Kenya, and Uganda, where the dollar earns quite a bit more. There's this tremendous work ethic in that side of I can say in those countries. There's a freedom of religion. We're a Christ-centered organization built on Catholic social teaching, so we can go about our work without fear of retribution. And so we see really strong growth in East Africa and really strong growth in Central America. And I did want to share with you this tension that we manage of being the largest organization in the world dedicated to these communities. We know that so you'll see a community like this in almost the capital city of every developing nation will have this unregulated dump site where human waste, medical waste, all types of waste is in the same place. I mean, it's horrific conditions as you've seen and heard. And when we're in one of those communities, we never want to see children in a dump site. Like that to us is unacceptable. And we never want to see people so hungry they have to go to the dump site for food. Also unacceptable. So we do our best to make sure that never happens. We're in a community. But yet we also feel this calling to help in other nations and cities where there is no support. There is no International Samaritan. So our long-term strategic plan is always trying to look at, our goal is to be in 2 more communities within the next couple of years, serving 2,000 kids, where we're in 8 with 1,000 right now. But you're balancing things like, should we cut back on helping our kids with food and clothes so that we can give more kids a scholarship? Scott will share with you how difficult these decisions are of balancing that tension between depth and breadth. That's something we struggle with quite a bit. The overall organizational cost averages out to $3,000 per family or per scholar that we bring in. So with 950 scholars here at almost $3 million that we hustle to raise every single year. And our goal is really to double that and be able to serve twice as many kids, but there's challenges with that.
Ronia, we saw images of the garbage dump I think that was in San Pedro Sula. We saw the video of the dump. I don't want to focus on that side of your work because I think we could talk about that for the next 6 weeks and feel helpless as though we can't do anything about it. The thing that stood out to me was a conversation that you and I had that stuck with me since January of '24, where you go visit the dump and you come back and you meet these families and you talk about opportunity and what we're trying to do. And I said to Ronia, and I want you to respond to them as you did to me, that the goal here is to get them out of this community, right? Not out of the dump. The goal is to get them to move. I want to get them a house in a different neighborhood. I want to get them out of this community. But that's not the goal.
That is not the goal, because that is home for them, and that is the place where they had a home. It is not a safe place, but they are happy there. They have an opportunity to work, because in Honduras we don't have many opportunities for work. So they didn't study, so the only place where they can work is the garbage down. And you saw the people, they are happy. Even when they smell the garbage, they can see the garbage, but they had a family and they always smile. They're happy there. So the goal there is to help them. That is what we are doing with our scholars. We provide education, because if they get graduated, they will be able to have a better life and able to work. We had a scholar, her name is Margie. Margie is a student for engineer, for technology. So now she's working with us. So she's earning money for her family. So now she continues studying, but she's working with us. So we can do that, and they can have a better life.
Talk to me, but you talked, gave a specific example. Give me a few others. Kind of tell stories of folks that some of the folks that we met while we were down there, and some of the success stories that you guys are proud of. I know we met a young man who's was starting his own barber kind of hair cutting.
There's a young man named Anthony. A couple of years ago, my wife and I had just gone on a trip to Ethiopia. We got home to be with our team in Ethiopia. We got home, she's up in the middle of the night because she can't sleep, and she's watching a Christian TV channel, and a video comes on, and she wakes me up, and it's about this young man named Anthony in San Pedro Sula working in a garbage dump. And I was like, so like 2 hours later, I call Andrew, and Andrew calls Erica, who leads the work in San Pedro Sula. She goes, oh yeah, that's Anthony. They filmed that video about 7 years ago. His older brothers are in the gang. He's working, we know him. He's in the dump site. And I was like, well, that seems unacceptable. He had this tragic story of his dad fell off a garbage truck and died from a brain injury. His brother was actually run over by a garbage truck, like something consistent in every community. Is a truck stop for no one. Like trucks will just run over people.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like, they don't work on the garbage truck. They jump on it. Yeah. When that truck pulls into the dump, they are racing to it and jumping on it so they can be the first ones to get the first access to the trash when it comes out of it. So when he says they were run over by the truck, this isn't their employer. Right. This is their lifeline.
It means, yeah. So my wife and I, our hearts are broken for this kid. Well, Erica, who's like Ronia, but in San Pedro Sula, brings him in. He says, yeah, I'd love to, he actually wanted to be a mechanic, but he, at this point he's like 17, he couldn't pass the reading test. And so we ended up, he said, well, what else, he wanted to be a barber. So we sent him to barbering school, and now he's so proud. He's been a licensed barber in Honduras for over a year now. He's teaching his younger brother how to be a barber, and he's providing for his mother. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful story of what, belief, wrapping your arms around somebody, asking what their dreams are, and helping them achieve it can accomplish.
We also met a young man who was working as an electrician, I think he was installing an air conditioning unit in one of the shopping centers. You've got students that are coming through the program and pursuing college or trades. Why don't you talk to me about some of the success stories that you're most proud of?
Yeah, and we decide with some scholars give technical education, because they will have more opportunities to work like an electrician, like a construction, So each scholar have a good story. So I can tell from each scholar, how is he doing, how is life changing for he or her or for her family, you know. Because as I told you before, if we don't study, we don't have many good opportunities in Honduras. Even when we study, we don't have too much opportunities. I can see people here in the United States that say, that word doesn't like, I will change. So we don't have that in Honduras. So that's why we are working on education. We are provide everything they need. Not only that, we also provide food, and we are working, and like 2 days up before I was asking for help to another group for a health center, because these people doesn't have a center, and working in the garbage down, many pollution, many rich people have skin illness, stomach ache, you know, and they don't have money to go to a health clinic. So we are working to provide a clinic. We are working with government, so they will provide the doctor and the nurse if we can as International Samaritan, and I had to ask for help to Mike. Every time he said, wait, Ronia, because we need a health center and we need more scholarships, because we only have 60 in Tegucigalpa, but we had at least like 40 scholars waiting for a scholarship. They don't have money to pay for transportation because our community is out of the city. It's like 16 kilometers far away from the city.
Mike, can you talk about what all is included with that scholarship? What's provided, and then you know, looking at a community like Honduras, how much does something like that cost?
Okay, great, thanks. So, again, imagine any one of those families you just saw there, right? And in Honduras and the other cities, they do have public education, but even in a public school, you still have to pay fees, you have to have uniforms, you have to pay for books, there's shoes, there's things that are just above of the families that work there. And so every scholarship, every commitment starts with all of the educational fees. That ends up averaging, depending on the nation, somewhere around $1,400, because we send a lot of kids to Catholic schools and universities. Of course, we have team members of 6 to 8 people in each community walking hand to hand alongside of the children. That's also built in. But then you can't just send the kids to school if they don't have shoes, if they don't have clothes, if their family can't pay their rent, if they don't have food. And so we help with that, and that ends up averaging out to $3,000 per kid for every family. And I did want to say, if it's okay, the challenge that we had faced is such an amazing opportunity. Like, I'm 56. Father Batiste retired 7 years ago when I was asked to come here. And in some ways, I feel like this organization kind of saved my life. I'd spent my whole life, I don't want to be melodramatic, but at the time I was 49. I had felt called to always do work like this in Detroit. I'd spent my whole life there. And my wife and our 3 kids were all in school. My wife was becoming a nurse. We had 3 kids in Catholic school. So I was working 3 jobs to pay 4 tuitions. It was just a tough stretch of my life when somebody said, there's this organization in Ann Arbor we'd like you to take a look at. And I ended up getting hired. And in the last 7 years, I've never felt younger or stronger or more on fire than I have in my life because of what we get to do together with team leaders and members, just like Ronia, across the world. One of these challenges we face is, how do we continue to raise money to grow and to continue to sustain what we do? And we really looked at it as like the Toledo model. Like, what works is this school, St. John's, where the parents and the students who travel, they really wrap their arms around this community, just like the Good Samaritan in the Bible, right? Like, if you remember, the lawyer says, how should I love my neighbor? And Jesus says, and he tells the story, and remember, a priestly person walked by and ignored that person. A Levite walked by and ignored that person. But a Samaritan, kind of an outsider, walked by and saw that person and said, don't worry, gave him his coat, put him on his donkey, brought him and said, we're going to make sure this guy has what he needs. And that's what St. John's has been doing with this community in Guatemala. And it's the families that make up that community here in Toledo, the Flasks, the Jindals, the Savages, the Rideouts, I could go on and on, Chris Lindsay, Kevin, continuing to say, how can we help year after year? And so that became our motto. Like, it's kind of like the St. John's Toledo motto we're doing in Detroit, Columbus, Ann Arbor, Denver. We're building a learn, serve, grow relationship between schools or Rotaries or churches who see that community and say, we want to help in a way that's mutually fulfilling. It's not just like, oh, what more can we do for Ronia? You get to know Ronia and the kids really well, and they're nurturing you as a result. So it's a really powerful partnership we get to be a part of.
Ronia, when you look at the community and you spend time with the families, you see firsthand the challenges that they face. But what gives you hope?
People like you. Because we really need help, and it's hard for me to say the kids, because with this Family Life Center, we have many kids from the community to come, that come to play. They are not scholars yet, but it's hard for me to say, wait, when they ask for help, they ask for a scholarship. I say, please wait, we are praying for more opportunities, and you are in our heart, you are in our prayers. So I know that God is with us, and we will be able to help them. And that makes me strong is that they really like to share with others, even when they don't have anything. But they are people amazing. I surprise every time that I buy some shoes for a new scholar, and he said, I will bring this to my brother, and like they have colors, pencils, and they say, can I have one for my brother? It's amazing, and I stay in the office that is in the Family Life Center since 8 a.m. to 5, but on weekends, I always have message for my scholars. And I have message even in the nights. Ronia, I need to buy a book for tomorrow. Okay, wait, the store is closed. But yeah, they look at me as a person that can help them. So that makes me strong, because I can help because you help. So.
What do you need?
Good question. And that is the question that I always ask Mike, because we have meetings on Tuesday, and it's amazing when he said, Ronia, wait, we don't have money yet. But we really need more scholarships, because we had a list that are kids waiting for a scholarship.
When we visited the garbage dump, I remember kids running up to you and asking when they can get on scholarship.
Yeah.
This is, the community knows you guys are there, and the need is real, and there are family members of scholars who aren't currently scholars.
Yeah, and they always are in the Family Life Center helping with the activities, even when they don't have a scholarship. But they are glad for the ones that had a scholarship, and they are waiting for an opportunity.
If I could just clear my name a little bit here on the wait. So every Tuesday at 8:30, Andrew and I and the team leaders all get on a Zoom call for generally an hour, sometimes a little bit longer. It's the best hour of my week, every single week. And Ronia and Andrew and Tucker will acknowledge that I used to say yes all the time. Like you can't help but see the need and say yes. And we're a faith-based organization. I kind of have this huge faith, just personally, those 3 jobs and never paid for the 4 tuitions always $1,000 short for like 30 straight months, but I always saw God make a way every month after month. So I came into this organization with just this huge faith, like, it's going to be okay, God will provide. And last year, I kept saying yes and yes. And then about September, I looked at Scott and our finance committee, and I said, I think we're going to be about $500,000 short this year, but don't worry, God will make a way. And his timing wasn't my timing. We ended the year $562,000 short, and we get to this retreat in end of January, and we go to set goals, and our board was just so supportive. And years in other organizations, you'd have to lay off people, you'd have to do these horrible things, and the board was just really good about it. But we get to the retreat, after 4 or 5 hours, we set goals for the year, and Scott kind of looks up and says, I think we should set a goal to hit the budget this year. I kind of laughed and said, Scott, isn't that my job description? And he said, yeah, but let's make this a bigger goal for the whole team. So we did. And as a result, we're really clear on, you can have a year like that once, but you can't have it twice in a row. Then you start to go out of business, right? And so in June, we had to make some really difficult decisions on that growth versus depth. And so we had to reduce some of those funds that we use for things like shoes and food. And we said, until we're in a better financial position, we just can't keep saying yes. So when she says, Mike, we'll keep saying wait, we're in a pretty austere position right now. And it's a little bit unusual for us, but that's our reality.
Ronia, as we wrap up, this is your first time in Toledo.
Yes.
And this is probably for many in the room the first time having a conversation with somebody from Honduras. What do you want us to walk away from knowing about your home?
I hope you understand my English.
Your English is significantly better than my Spanish, so you're good. You're good.
I always say that it's nice that people come to our communities to see what you are doing with us and to see how can you help more. So I invite you to come to our city, to come to our country, and to look how this life of these kids are changing. And thank you that you did, the team, Raina, Travis. Thank you so much, because it is, I think you can imagine the garbage down. When we talk about the garbage down, a lady said yesterday, you are talking about the garbage down, but I don't know what is the garbage down. So, but it is not a good place. It is a place horrible. But people work there, and people sometimes eat for the food. So that is our world, that is the place where we work, and we can learn how to be there and how to help others.
Ronia, thank you for everything you're doing. Mike, thank you. Rotarians, have a big round of applause. So I have 2 surprises for you, Ronia. So when we were there visiting Honduras, we told you that you are a Toledo Rotarian, and you are a Toledoan. I am pleased to tell you that you are officially an honorary Toledo Rotarian. Welcome to Toledo Rotary.
Gracias. Thank you. I have my flag in my office, so I love the Toledo Club. And I always are watching on Facebook what is the Toledo Club doing, because yeah, I love you guys, really.
Well, make sure you check in and give Mark a run for his money. So we're ready for it. The second thing, and I'd like to invite a special guest to come to the stage. David Zavak is here, and David is from Marcy Kaptur's office. The Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur, the longest-standing female congressperson. So, David?
Congresswoman Kaptur is in Washington, D.C. today. She would have loved to have given you the certificate of recognition. Thank you for everything you do for your country. As a St. John's graduate, we've known a lot about what you guys have done for a long time, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. One more time, a round of applause for our friends from International Samaritan. Oh yeah, I guess we do have, hang on. Can we take a couple of questions, maybe? Make it real hard on you? Do we have any questions? Zach has the microphone, he's gonna run it around. Carol has a question? All right, good luck. Yeah, if you could ask the question in Spanish, that'd be great.
Yes, in Spanish is better for me.
No no problema.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if your organization works with Rotary clubs in the countries where you help people.
Yes. In Uganda, we're just growing in Uganda, so our team leaders are all quite a bit like Tucker and the people in this room, and so I think there's 2 or 3 of our members who are joined with the Rotaries in their country.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for being here today, and especially for your type of humor. When you have a moment to laugh, you always use it. Thank you so much. It's encouraging. My question is, you mentioned that the gangs that involved and interfere with the life of those people who on the dumpster side. Do they possess any threat to you as an organization, and how you resolve such issues if the gang members go and threaten you, like, why are you taking our workers or something like that? And if I'm wrong on this assumption, just correct me.
No, you're correct. It's a hornet's nest. Literally, in the battles I choose, that's not one I'm choosing, right? So there was a time we were negotiating a trip to a community, and our team leader was like, no, it's fine. I talked to the gangs. As long as they know which car we're driving, we'll be fine. And that made me a little uncomfortable that we're having this level of negotiations with gangs. So each of our team leaders, like Ronia, honestly, our work is so well respected. The gangs don't mess with us or our people, but it is an uncomfortable status quo that I just choose not to pick that challenge right now. If that's the best I have.
Gracias. Solo quería darte la bienvenida
She
como una
says,
hermosa catracha que eres y decirte que Honduras es un país muy bendecido y que la gente de Honduras es muy fácil de amar.
Gracias. Ay, qué bonito escuchar mi español. Gracias. Somos un país muy bonito, es un país muy hermoso, y la gente en Honduras somos bien cariñosos. Nos gusta querer mucho, así que si les doy abrazos, no se extrañen, pero así somos los hondureños.
All right, can I challenge you to tell us what just happened?
Oh, so I forgot.
I don't know enough.
You speak Spanish.
Not well enough to know what just happened here.
You were speaking in Spanish in Honduras.
If you spend enough time there, it starts to wear off on you, but I've been gone long enough. I need to immerse myself there for a few weeks next time.
I said we had a beautiful country, and all the people in Honduras, we are people that really like to help people, so don't be afraid if I help you, because we really like to love people.
Well, I love you, and I love what you're doing, so
I love you too.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you, Ronia, as well as Mike, for coming today. We really appreciate your time. As a gift, an appreciation for your time, I will give you, after the meeting, a copy of the book, Historical Tales of Toledo, written by our own past president, Clint Mock, which I hope you'll enjoy. And we also make a donation in both your names to the Polio Plus Fund. So thank you again for your time today. We really appreciate it. All right, we will be back next week when we're joined by Scott Hayes, who is the Strategic Communications and Government Relations Director for the Toledo Refining Company. Also, as you can see, if you plan to come to the mayor's meeting on September 29th, if you're going to bring a number of guests, I just want to let you know if you could reach out to Jackie or me, just so we can kind of plan for size and things like that. But otherwise, it'll be a normal meeting. For new members or newish members, whether you're one or the other, please remember that this Wednesday we have a new member orientation. It's going to be here at Glass City Center. It's going to be in Summit A, and it's a morning session. So this is a great opportunity for you to learn more about the club, learn more about the structure of the club, learn more about what it means to be a member, and how you can get involved in committees and other things within the club. So please come, and if you haven't been to one of these already. All right, there's one committee meeting today, and its membership committee is going to be meeting in Summit A. And I think, as Carol kind of talked about earlier, I think good luck to everyone who you get the opportunity today, as you heard today, to go out and do something. And I hope it's unite some folks for good. So we're adjourned.